It's Biggle Boggles, Biggle Boggles, Biggle Boggles, Biggle Boggles, Biggle Boggles!
Jeez! Did you see that? She gave a penalty! God blimey, what is going on? What's the point of all this then? What's wrong with FIFA? Do you know what, John? I agree with you. I rarely do, but this time I do. It's abominable. Good grief! Instead of implementing the rules properly, they're changing the rules. It's not football, is it? It's as if they don't have the guts to do the right thing. So they just change the rules, thinking that that will solve the problem. Yeah, but it doesn't solve the problem, does it? Because every problem you think you're solving is just asking the players to try and pull the wool over the ref's eyes once again. Right, Jimmy, what FIFA does not understand is that changing the rules willy-nilly is not solving the problem, instead it's causing more loopholes. That's a big word, Johnny. Thank you. No worries. Right, where were we? Loopholes? Right, let me just look it up. Give me a moment. Hello, Jimmy and Johnny. Sawubona. Yeah, bo, Mr. Dlamini. Good Johnny. Nkona wena. How? I am so happy that you have learnt a little Siswati. Sawubona, Mr. G. Here it is. I found it. What is this all about then? We were just watching the Women's World Cup and we're frustrated with how similar it's become to the men's matches. You mean in how well the women are playing as compared to the men? No, not the technical ability or the tactical plays. It's the acting and the arguing with the ref is what we're getting sick of. Yes, I agree. I used to like watching women's football because I was getting sick of all the crying and acting and disrespect to the ref in men's football, and now they are doing the same thing in women's version. Yeah, boss. But what was getting us really over the edge was the fact that instead of applying the rules, FIFA are willy-nilly changing them. Look at this, for instance. The new rule for a penalty in the box is this is what I've taken from the internet. It's all cobblers, isn't it? Mr. D, why are they trying to make things difficult? How? If I have to answer it straight, it is so that there is always controversy in a football match. This means there will always be something to talk about. This includes not respecting the referee. When the players, including the manager and the bench, scream and shout at the ref or his or her assistants, then it makes the game more watchable for the spectators and the people watching on TV. But how can a 3-year-old kid abusing the referee be good for the game? We forgot to mention his father, mother and grandparents who are also abusing and saying, "Oh, how wonderful our little Jeremy knows the F word." Is this the state of football now? I'm not enjoying it. Well, for people like you, there's rugby or the TZLC or both. We are lucky, aren't we? Very true. Mr. J, explain to us how Cassandra has looked at the indirect free kick rule. It's pretty simple, actually. When a player does anything deliberate in the box to stop the opponent from having a clear chance on goal, then the ref is asked to give a pop, or in FIFA's case, a penalty. Right. But when the referee feels that the offense was not deliberate, then an IFK, or that is an indirect free kick, should be awarded from where the offense happened. That's super simple, isn't it? Incredibly simple. It is obviously easier for the ref in the TZLC as the players respect the referee and will abide with any decision taken. But Mr. J, isn't that a double-edged sword? A catch-22 situation? I think I know where you're going with this, Jimmy. Isn't the ref under more pressure to get the decision right because the players trust him to take the right one? I can't believe how the two of you have become so much smarter. Thank you. Right. In FIFA, if the referees could face the players with venom and give as good as they got, then there would be a chaos in bedlam. If the referees have to do a good job, they need support from the head organization and respect from the players. But isn't that what the spectator wants? Chaos and bedlam? No spectator, especially a crazy one, wants to see a player from his or her team sent off. That is what the ref will have to do if he wants to take action against a player that acts disrespectful. So in FIFA, to avoid fans going crazy along with the players, if the referee decides to give as good as he gets, FIFA asks the referees to tuck their tail between the legs and accept the players and spectators' wrath. But that's not fair. It's atrocious. Exactly. But that's what FIFA wants. But we are going off topic. I have a simple solution that even FIFA can use without having to ask the players to respect the referees. Cool, what is it? It's the indirect free kick, innit? Yeah, bro. For any offense that the referee thinks was not a goal scoring opportunity, all he or she has to do is award an indirect free kick. Brilliant! But Mr. T, isn't the IFK rule already in place? Yeah, bro, it is. But for some reason, it's ignored. Like the limit on how many steps a goalkeeper can take. Well done, Johnny. Yes, for some reason, when there are already rules in place, FIFA refused to implement them. But once again, that's for another video. Right now, we are talking about the indirect free kick. But before we move on, I must add another piece of information that would explain why the players always tend to get the better of the referees. Why the referees allow the players to stomp all over them. This should be interesting. A revelation for sure. It is because the referees are less experienced than the players. You will never find a player of a high technical ability and high awareness levels retire and become a referee. Hence, the refs are low on confidence and always indecisive because the players know that the referee's inexperience is no match for their own experience. This is why the VAR or video assisted referee has come into the picture. My simple reasoning is, why have referees at all? But that's for another video. Let's get back to the indirect free kicks. Look at this image. The attacker is in the 18-yard box and is clearly fouled. What is the decision here? A penalty? In FIFA, yes, a penalty. In the TZLC, a pop. Both of you are right. But if you look at the incident again, you'll notice that the attacker has just lost control of the ball and would not have had a chance to score as he was fouled. In this case, an IFK would be the correct call, as although it is clear that the attacker was fouled, it is also clear that he was not in control of the ball and therefore would gain an unfair advantage of a pop or a penalty, as that would be too much of an advantage to the attacking player. But the foul can't go unpunished, so an IFK should be awarded, thereby allowing the defending team a chance to defend and the attacking team a chance to attack again. As the foul is in the box, it's an IFK. Cool! Unbelievable. Here's another example, including the one you are just watching. The second example happened in the recent Champions League final between Spurs and Liverpool. The first one, what you people were watching, was a shot on goal by a Matilda's player, that is Australia, which was blocked by the Spanish defender's upper arm in the box. In this case, the defender moved her body and therefore arm, even though it was to her side towards the ball. She was facing the ball. This meant that the player knew that the arm provided an extra few inches to block the shot. Hence, it was a deliberate attempt to stop the ball with the hand, and thus a penalty in FIFA or a pop in the TZLC would have been the right call. If the Spanish defender was just standing still, which meant she was not deliberately using her arm to block the ball, then an IFK would have been awarded. The second example was when the Tottenham player Sissoko came in to mark Liverpool's money. The incident occurred in one corner of the 18-yard box. Mane went to cross the ball in and the ball hit Sissoko's upper arm. Sissoko was facing the ball. This was not a pop or penalty because there was no clear goal scoring opportunity, and the defender was not intentionally trying to interfere in an illegal way. Correct. Therefore, an indirect free kick would have been the right call. If it was outside the box, then the referee could have thought of giving a direct free kick. Or if a cross by Mane was on target for a teammate's head. What if the Spurs goalkeeper Loris was having a cup of tea at that moment? Both good questions. This is when the linesperson or the referee's assistant can be called into the picture. If the goalkeeper was definitely not in a position to stop a shot at goal after the cross had come in, then the referee would rethink the pop or penalty option. But it would still be harsh, as the defending side Spurs could have stated that their defender could have got to the cross before it was met by a Liverpool player. Thus, the referee must always look at the incident when it involves a player that has sinned or the player that has been fouled. In FIFA, you have only two options: a penalty or an indirect free kick, while in the TZLC you have three options: a pop, a penalty and an indirect free kick. That is why in FIFA there are many controversial decisions, especially as the indirect free kick is never used. Which suits FIFA perfectly. Absolutely crazy stuff, Mr. T. Thank you, Siabonga, and there's so much more, but enough for today. How about a cup of lemongrass tea before practice? Lemongrass, that'd be good. Just try to clear the throat and get me ready for the loo.